sound check, right?
Good afternoon. My name is Sourov Roy. You can call me Roy. I'm the Director of Professional Services for Asia.
Awesome. I must admit I'm a little bit behind the eight ball, Roy, because I just came for this interview straight from the office.
No worries.
What professional services do you actually offer?
Sure, that's a very good question because a lot of people tend to know the term professional services, but they don't really know what we do.
Yes, exactly. Because I thought you were an accounting software provider.
Exactly. And the bigger element to that piece is, yes, we have a great software. But what is also important is to be able to deliver that software in a professional manner. And professional is one part of our name, professional services. So
Right.
in simple words, we professionally look to deliver that service itself. And one of the things that we are doing at Sage is to make sure that we understand the pain of our customers and to be able to deliver these solutions faster. Once they see the Sage solution, they really like it. But what happens when you like something is you really want it fast. And what we try to do is try to meet that requirement for the customer, give them that solution fast so that they can derive those benefits of those solutions faster as well. And that's exactly what we focus on at the professional services or at Sage
Right.
Asia.
So once your professional services gurus have implemented the software and installed it, presumably if it's still on-prem, then presumably there is also still a fairly steep learning curve on the part of the customer.
That's a very, very valid point because sometimes we construe system deployment as just a technical project, but it's far beyond that. It's a change management exercise at the end of the day. And it doesn't start or stop with just an installation of the software. That's just the beginning of the journey. And what is also important, and that's what at Sage we differentiate ourselves and focus on, is not just going in and doing a software deployment. It's having a long-term partnership with the customer, also making sure that we take them through this exercise of changing into a system, changing from an old way of doing things to the new way of doing things, and also ensure that they can get the promised benefits from the system as well. And as I said, getting those benefits faster than the others would be.
Yeah, I was reading some research on that recently, that people spend incredible amounts of money on software, and then they use maybe 10% of it.
Exactly.
So are you finding that too? Is that why you launch professional services? Because people aren't getting their value for money?
Value for money has different aspects to it, right? So one of the crucial aspects is to make sure that we can get those benefits fast. If I purchase something which I really love, but if I have to wait longer to get the benefit, then there's an opportunity cost to it, right? The longer you take, the further I have to wait to get the benefits out of it. So if I can give them those benefits faster, however, one important aspect here also is we don't want to compromise on the quality. Just giving them a fast solution doesn't mean giving them a cheap solution. It means giving them a high quality solution as well. And for that, what we do at Professional Services is we are also coming up with a framework where we can not only deploy solutions fast, but ensure that the standard and the quality that we promised them at the start of the project, which is exactly going back to what you were saying earlier. A lot of the projects fail because of those misaligned expectations in the project, which we plan to address through this framework.
All right. So what sort of people actually are your professional services experts, gurus, who you then send out to the customer? Are they accountants or software engineers?
One of the best quotes that I like about a software company that the leader said that, my assets walk out of the door every evening and then they come back in the morning. And that's how we view our people as well. Our biggest asset is our people. So what we do there is to ensure that we have the right competent people, bringing in and filtering people, not just people with technical expertise, but with a business mindset. Because when you go into meeting a customer, you don't just want to be talking about just a technical problem or a technical solution. You want to understand what does his business do, what is the heart of his business, and how can you help improve his business at the end of the day.
So what are the business problems that they usually tell you about?
One of the biggest business problems, if we come back to the accounting space that we're talking about, right? One of the biggest problems is when at the end of every period, you have to close your financial books and statements, right? What we try to do is to see how we can lessen that cycle, how we can make reconciliation efforts easier. So we have an aspect where in the product itself we have certain reconciliation features, but at the same time what we also need to do is the way you design the system has to be simple as well. So starting from all the way from the chart of accounts to the period closures and the reconciliation, all this comes in as part of the solution and the service that we provide through our experienced 150 to 200 member pool of Asia consultants that we have in this region. And that, I strongly believe, is our differentiator. You can have solutions in the market, you can have good solutions like Sage, but where we differentiate ourselves is with this level of competency that we have within the organization to provide that high world-class service at a cost and an investment that suits the market that we're targeting.
Right. Pause. How's our interview going? Are you getting your messages across?
So I had 3 or 5 things that I have in my mind which I wanted to play across. So one of them was, of course, our value, our pool of resources, our methodology. So I wanted to see where I can form those links and play those points over and over again so that at the end of the interview, the audience has that part of recall.
Let's see whether it worked. What did you get?
I think that you answered the questions well. The only one thing that I would caution you on is that you got through your messaging a little bit, you tried to answer his question, and then you went to the messaging. I would say shorten the part where you try to answer his question and just get to your messaging because you weaved it in very well, sure. I felt. And you spoke with a lot of passion, confidence, gusto, a lot of hand movements, gestures all around.
Sounds like you really care about the subject.
I do.
He does.
Right.
He really does.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's about it. But I mean, you hit it spot on. But it's just that sometimes you just tend to drone on a bit.
As a reporter, I felt I got lots of value.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess the point is about, going back to the diagram, that just that reaching out for the question is 2, maybe 3 sentences.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also wanted to be able to show that, yes, he's talking about Sage, but he knows the broader subject also, which gives a layer of authenticity to what I'll say next about Sage. So I was trying to balance that, but yeah, I mean, to Audrey's point, if I need to reduce that, I could do that too.
Yeah, no, I felt sure. that was very good value. You also paused on occasion, which was very useful. I don't know whether you did that deliberately.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, good. So that worked very well. Something that we didn't have time to cover earlier on, but it's important for it to sink in.
Correct.
And to see whether the reporter is actually listening.
Correct.
Half the time.
Correct.
Good. Shall we do one more?
Sure.
Because I know you're also pressed for time, but.
110.